Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis, and in this video we're going to install Arch Linux. You'll come to archlinux.org. On the right side there, you'll see the download, and click on that, and it will open up the download page, and here you can choose between a torrent or a magnet link, or you can select a individual country or mirror from an individual country. All right, and over the right hand side of this same page, we get the installation guide, and that's what we're going to be doing. So, let me minimize this. I've got it set up in a virtual box. I give it 4 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor. I have enabled the EFI. I give it 128 megs of video memory, 56.5 gigabyte hard drive. And this will be the first screen that you're presented with. You can just leave it, not do anything, and it'll boot into Arch Linux. You can also boot into Arch Linux with speech, or the EFI shell, or reboot into the firmware interface. I'm going to select the install. With no speech. Alright, so I've got it set up, but I've also, for the network adapter here, I've used a bridged adapter, which is going to allow me to SSH into this installation here. Just a couple of prerequisites. We are in a virtual box, so it's going to use my internet connection, so I know I'm going to be online. But if you're not sure you're online, you need to find out. So let's just find out by running a ping and make sure it is online. It is, so I'm going to Control C to get it off or stop that. Send the interrupt signal. Control L will clear that screen. Okay, so the first thing we need is we need a password. So we need a password for root. So PASWD. Going to specify root. Hit enter. Going to give it a password and going to have to confirm it. And if they both match, you're good. Now we'll need an IP address. And here we've got, under iNet, we got 192.168.0.169. All right, let me go over to my first screen here. And the first thing I'm going to do is sign in as root, so I don't have to. Okay, clear that. So now I'm going to SSH space root at 192.168.0.169. Enter. And we're going to have to type in the word yes. We're going to enter that password that we gave it just in. And now you can see we're booted into the Arch Linux ISO on the virtual box. And lsblk will reveal that we have SDA-A, which is 56.5 gigabyte hard drive. All right, so we've verified we're online. If you need to change your fonts, then they're in user share KBD console fonts. All right, if you're not sure you're in legacy mode or EFI mode, you can run this command right here, ls system firmware fevars. If you get any readout at all, you're in UEFI mode. So let me Control L to clear that screen. All right, we've pinged. We made sure that we're online. But I actually like to run a SYY and synchronize the data, package databases. Okay, so we're synchronized. Now we're going to set the time. Time date CTL space hyphen space set hyphen NTP true. All right, so now we already know we've got an SDA. That's what we're going to run CF disk on. We'll use the -Z so I can make sure that the label type is GPT. First thing I'm going to do is give it a 512 capital M for megabyte, and hit enter. This is going to be slide over to type, hit enter, and go all the way to the top. And that's going to be an EFI system. Arrow down once, hit new. We'll skip over that and give it a 6 capital G and hit enter. And for the type, we're going to select Linux swap, hit enter. Now arrow key down to new space there, hit new. And I'm going to give this 22 gig for the root drive, and you don't have to specify that. It's already a Linux file system. Arrow key down to the new, hit enter, and give it all the rest of it we have left. And I'm going to say write, type in yes, and hit enter. All right, now we're ready to quit. All right, and I'm going to control L. Now, if we run an lsblk, we'll see we have SDA 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so now we have to format those. We're going to make a file system of a .fat space hyphen F capital F32 space on device SDA1, and the capital F32 specifies that we're going to get a FAT32, not a FAT16 or any other. So we're going to make some swap on device SDA2. We'll turn that swap on. Now we're going to make a file system of an ext4 on STA3. When this is 2, I'm going to up arrow and bring that back. Backspace 3 out of there, replace it with 4, and hit enter. All right, now we need to mount some drives. And I'm going to mount device SDA3 to /mnt. Now we're going to need a directory or a folder. And we're going to call it MNT. We're going to call it home. Enter. Now we're going to mount device SDA4 to MNT home. Now if we run lsblk again, you'll see that everything but the EFI partition is mounted. All right. Now we're ready to run our pacstrap command. Control L to clear that screen, and start off by running pacstrap space /mnt. Oh, not packstart. Pacman strap. All right, now we'll after I get these copied and pasted, we'll come back to them and tell you what all they are, and I'll show it to you in the wiki here. We'll leave get out of this. Not get, but reflector. Reflector is included now. Anyway, every time Arch Linux boots up, it runs reflector. Oops, I went the wrong way. MDADM. Yep, here we go. All right, I'm going to hit enter. And we'll go back to the installation guide online. All right, installation guide. See where we're at here. We're running the pacstrap command. We formatted, partitioned and formatted our disk. We mounted them in the pacstrap. And again, it says the base package does not include all the tools from the live installation, so installing other packages may be necessary for a fully functional base system. In particular, consider installing utilities for accessing RAID or LVM partitions, specific hardware that's not in devices not included, Linux firmware, networking, text editor, man info and man pages, text info. You know, it's telling you that you're not going to have a good system or a fully functional system unless you do install some of these other things. And that's why I install them. But I'll put descriptions in the titles down here that says what these are. Base devel, Linux LTS for the kernel, Linux firmware, Nano, Network Manager Applet, USB utils, GVfs, NTFS-3G, which will make it where we can plug in a USB drive and our system will read it, whether it's a Windows USB drive or not. Pacman contrib, git, wget, yagl, DOSFS tools, mtools, snail, mdadm, bash-completion, numlock x, mandb, manpages, dialog, WPA supplicant, wireless tools, netctl, and initutils. And like I said, I'll put in the description there what those are. The next thing we're going to do, though, is GNFS tab. Right. Copy that. And I should have changed my pacman.conf file so we knew exactly how far along we are. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back when this is finished. All right, so it's finished downloading and it's installing. It's about halfway through with the actual install. And it will fly through this pretty good, which is going to depend on how fast your computer is. And as far as the download, depends on how fast your internet is. All right, so it finally got finished there. Control L to clear the screen. Control Shift V will paste in GNFS tab, space hyphen capital U, space lowercase p, space /MNT, and two greater than symbols or chevrons, space /MNT/etc/FS tab. Hit enter when you're ready. I'm going to up arrow that back and I'm going to arrow over to before the mount, and I'm going to say cat, and that'll show us here that we've got our home as a UUID, and so does our root. So Control L to clear that screen again. And now we're ready to arch root. And that's, you'll notice the prompt will change. Now we're on our actual system. First thing we're going to do is deal with our local time. We're going to remove anything that might be there in order to prepare it for our next step. Now, in this step here, we're going to create a symlink ln space -sf space on n/user/share/zone info. And for me, it's in America. This would be your country. And for me, it's Chicago, and this would be my time zone. Space /etc/local time. Hit enter. Now we got to set the hardware clock. Hit enter. All right, that's HWCLOCK space hyphen SYSTOHC space hyphen UTC. All right, now we're going to configure our locale in locale.gen. Hit enter. And for me, it's right here at the top, English US. And this is nano, so we Control O to write it out, enter to confirm, Control X to get out of here. Now we're going to let the computer generate that location. Copy or echo that your language into etclocale.conf. We're going to hit enter. Now we're going to export the same, the time. Okay, export it. All right, so now we need a host name. A couple ways you can do it. You can run host name ctl space set hyphen host name and then give it a host name. Or you can temporarily set a host name in case you were setting it up for somebody else and they needed to rename it. You could just do it by host name, my host name. But the preferred method is go into that file and create one, and we're going to do that. We're going to go into Etsy host name. We're going to call this Arch. Oops, Arch, not Arc. Arch Linux. All right, when you get your host name, it should be something unique. I'm going to Control O to write it out, enter to confirm, Control X, get out of there, Control L will clear the screen. Now we need to edit our host plural file. And this is for our internet. And we'll go to the bottom of the screen there, or bottom of underneath the top two lines there. And we're going to enter 127.0.1 or .0.0.1. I'm going to hit enter. Then we're going to ::1 tab localhost. So we named this host name was Arch Linux. And we'll come down to end of local domain there, hit tab and give it the host name, repeat the host name again. All right, when you got your host name set, Control O, enter, Control X. All right, now password for the root. So password, PASSWD, you'll specify root, hit enter. Now this is going to change the root password that we needed a while ago, and that's been successful. Now we're going to add a user, and I'll include those notes right there. And normally I would add myself to all of these groups right here, and I'll probably put them in the description below. So that's user add, one word, space, hyphen, lowercase m, space, hyphen, capital G, and the group is wheel, space is hyphen, space, hyphen S for the shell is bin bash, and the name is Dennis. Go ahead, enter. All right, now we're going to give a password to Dennis. Hit enter. Give it a user password. Repeat that. Now we need to give Dennis some rights. And there's several ways you can do this. If you want to declare that Nano is your editor of choice instead of Vi or Vim or any of the other ones, you can export editor equals Nano and then run by sudo etc sudoers, or we can do it this way, which is my preferred method, is capital editor equals Nano space by sudo. We're going to go down to the user specification, and under wheel, you'll notice right there it says the wheel group. That's me. I'm going to backspace the hash marks off of there, and I'm finished. So I'm going to say Control O, enter, Control X, get out of there. All right, we're getting close to being finished. Let me enable the network manager since we've downloaded it already, and so I don't forget. Should get 3 sim links. All right, we do. All right, so the next thing we're going to do here is run a make init CPIO, and we're going to run that against the Linux LTS kernel because that's what I installed during the pacstrap. Hit enter. The wiki does say that this is not always necessary. Let's see if I can find them. The initial RAM disk is essential environment. Creating a new init RAM file system is usually not required because make init CPIO was run on installation of the kernel package with pacstrap. But that's okay, we did that anyway. So I'm going to Control L. Now you remember that first partition, EFI partition, I hadn't done anything with that except partition it and format it. So now we need to do something with it. So we're going to make a dir space /boot /capital EFI. All right, now we're going to mount that device /dev /sda1 to /where boot /EFI. Hit enter. Now if we run that same lsbok we did a while ago, you'll see that even the SDA1 is mounted. So let me Control L to clear that screen. And we're ready to do a little grub. This is going to be Pacman -S. We're going to get grub and EFI boot manager. If you have any idea at all you're going to be dual booting or multi-booting with this system, you need this OS prober as well. Go ahead and hit this, get this in there. All right, and it's going to prompt me to agree to the installation. All right, Control L to clear that screen, Control Shift V. Now this is the grub install command. Target grub install space target equals x86_64 space bootloader ID equals grub_uefi space recheck to recheck itself. Now, if you're doing this in a legacy mode and you're installing grub, you do not have to include this target. If you don't include it right now, I think you'll fail. At least it always has on me. I tried it. All right, installation's finished. No errors. we like hearing that. Copy, paste. And this is the grub make config. So it's grub make config -O for output. We're going to put it in boot grub CFG. Okay. So now I'm ready. Let me see, nano etsy pacman.conf, hit enter. We'll add a little color and funny stuff into the terminal. We get color, space, enter. I love CANDY. And I also like to get the verbose package list. And we're going to go down and get the multi-lib repository here. In case we have any 32-bit stuff. Control O, enter, Control X. Now we need to update the databases by syncing them with SYY. And we're ready to install desktop. So let's get some stuff first. Sudo, oh, not sudo, pacman -S. We're going to get xorg -x init, xorg -apps, xorg -drivers, xorg -xkill, and xorg -xclock. All right, if I got all that spelt right, it should install the xorg. And I'm going to, might have guessed, I'm going to install the XFCE desktop. But you see now to the left of your right of your screen, your other left, the percentage of the download as it's going. So we know about where it's at. In fact, I probably need to scoot that over toward the middle better. Yeah, probably better for the viewer. So now we've gotten our xorg stuff, or our X11 stuff for our video. All right, so now I'm going to say pacman -S XFCE4 XFCE4 We're going to get XDG user dires or directories. We're going to get XDG utils, Lightdm, Lightdm-GTK greeter, Lightdm-GTK greeter settings. What else is, oh, might as well get the audio stuff I'm going to need. Make sure I got audio when I boot into my system. And that will be also lib, also utils, also plugins, pulse audio, XFCE4 pulse audio plugin, and payvoo control. And I forgot to look what the total is there, but you can see the percentage there on the right hand side there. It's showing you how far along it is on the downloads. Let's see, I'm not sure why the XFCE Pulse Audio plugin is in there, because that comes in with the XFCE goodies. And it may have said reinstalling up there, I'm not sure. So we're ready to, as soon as this gets through, I'm going to enable the Lightdm service. And as soon as we do that, we can get on out of here. Reboot into a XFCE desktop. And that's through downloading. XFCE4 is relatively small. And XDGE user diars, that's like my documents, music, video, pictures, stuff like that in your home folder. So how large can that be? Okay. Control L, clear that screen. System CTL, enable Lightdm period service. Should get a single symlink, and we do. All right, so now we can either type Control D or type exit. I prefer Control D, but I will type exit. Now we're going to umount space -R the /MNT. Anything that's mounted, it's going to unmount it. All right, so now we can reboot. Oh, sorry, I'm going to power off and remove that ISO. Not going to power oof. Connections closed. Close that terminal. Should be able to close that out. Go back over here. VirtualBox. Go to settings. Go to storage. Right click on the attachment. Remove it. Now we should be ready to start up into a XFCE desktop. There's GLib. That's always a good sign. I hear the wheels turning. All right. Should be able to give it a trusted password. That was Lightdm, for those that don't know. The Windows Manager or Login Manager. And there we go. There's our beautiful XFCE desktop. All right, let me see something here. Sudo -SYYU. Should have to give it a password, and I do. First thing you should always do, regardless. When you boot into your system for the first time, run an update. Control L to clear that screen. So let's see, disk free -H. We got SDA3 right now has 3.5 gigabytes installed on it. Of course, our home directory is not going to have anything. 1.6 megs. That's what I was talking about with these XDG user diars folders. All right, so what else? Free memory, or let's do that again, except this time make it a H for human readable. It's using 273 megabytes. Very nice. Very, very nice. No updates. We got that. Let's see. And, you know, you really have nothing. What can I say? This is a plain, basic XFCE desktop. No internet browser, no games, no anything. If it didn't come with XFCE, it's not here. So it's up to you now to customize this in any way you want to. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a good day. Peace. Bye.